Hi, my name is Lucia. I'm a resident junior here. My family is originally from Portugal. And one experience growing up that always brought about this idea of the patriarchy and how my family raised me versus my brothers. So just for some context, I am one of five. I have two sisters and two brothers, and the way that me and my two sisters were raised was completely different than the way me and my brothers were raised. My brothers really were focused on like going out to do work, doing any opportunity that would get them into college and stuff like that. Versus the ladies, we were expected to stay home to do even if we were home on break, I was always cooking for my family. Even if my dad and my brothers were there, and I was not the oldest one, I was still responsible for cooking. And it was looked down upon if I didn't cook or clean the house or help out my brothers or do anything like that. And I think that one of the ways that that's really affected me is that I can see in a lot of different cultures this whole idea of raising your daughters differently because of this whole patriarchal notion that they should be responsible for a certain part of life while the men should be responsible for a certain part of life. And I think that that's just really hindered what I was able to do growing up, because if it wasn't staying home to cook, if it wasn't staying home to clean, my friends on breaks would go out and they would go to the beach, or they would go to a movie, and I was always expected to be home any chance I got to help out with the house. And I think that really hindered my ability to connect with my friends and make new friends and just have those experiences that a lot of high school students have. I can see a completely different way now that I'm at college by myself, and I'm not treated that way anymore, and I'm really allowed this independence from this idea that I should be in a kitchen or I should be at home cleaning. So yeah, that's my experience.
Hi, my name is Angela. I am from Guatemala. Well, my parents are from Guatemala. An experience that I had growing up with, especially Hispanic values, very patriarchal values that are imposed on me, especially being the only female and I have two other siblings, both boys. I definitely experienced my mom and my dad putting those values on me. From a young age, I wasn't able to do a lot of the things that my siblings were able to do because I was the only girl. If I wanted to go out at night, they wouldn't let me, but my younger brother, being younger, was able to do whatever he wanted at whatever times of the night because it was never an issue about his safety. It wasn't a worry that they had that he could defend himself. And I guess that has really affected me. Not so much in a negative way. I didn't think they were ever judgmental. I think it came from a somewhat good place, It was at the end of the day for my protection. But it was a lot more on me than on my siblings because they were male. And I guess being in college, that also plays a big role because I'm always thinking, should I be going out at night? Is that a safe thing to do? I'm always thinking about my sex when I'm going out with my friends. So I think that has definitely affected the way that I view myself in different contexts. Being at a party, is this the way that I should be acting? Is this the way that I was raised? Going to a school that is far away and stuff like that. So yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Kyle. I come from Haiti, Kinder School, and an experience that I had was probably the way that I speak, because sometimes I use slang in front of my mother and she hates that. For example, I'd be like, yo, what's up, bro? And I don't actually mean the term bro, but my mom hates when I do that. But my older brother, he's 18 now, up to date, and he usually uses slang in front of my mom, and she doesn't care. And I feel like that's affecting me in a way because sometimes when I use slang, I hold back sometimes, and I always think of what my mom said, but I don't know if I should continue doing what she said or if I should continue doing what I want to do. So I feel like she's affecting me in a way of my speech.
My name is Cassandra. I am Mexican, Greek, and Syrian. My experience as a young girl for my mother raising me to fit the societal norms of a woman was dressing, because she would make me dress more feminine than I wanted to, because when I was younger I played a lot of sports and I liked wearing sports clothes, I liked wearing sneakers, I liked wearing jeans. I didn't really wear anything like feminine in her opinion. So it affected me to the point that I literally stopped wearing them. I literally dressed more feminine because she wanted me to do so. So I just, I guess that shaped me to be more feminine in her opinion, but yet I still enjoy sports. I still wear my sports clothes now. So.
My name is Joniana and I'm Haitian American. Ways that my mom attacks me in a way is when she tells me to stop wearing overexposing clothes because she doesn't want me to be sexualized. This has affected me because it makes me feel like, oh, everywhere I go, some dude's gonna look at me and I don't feel free to be myself. But I don't really care. Like, look at me now. I'm just being myself. So, yeah.
Hi, my name is Daniela Mateo. I was born in Miami, but my family's from Cuba. And essentially, my experience as a Latina woman, kind of being taught by my parents what was expected of me within society. I feel like something I definitely heard a lot growing up was like to sit with like my legs crossed, to always kind of like wear things that were more modest in nature, kind of like I wouldn't go as far as to call it like slut shaming, but definitely saying like that the woman always had like an important role in kind of like maintaining modesty and kind of like not inviting like sexual advances or kind of like not putting themselves out there in a way that would make it seem like, I don't know, like they didn't have like morals, or like kind of like correlating like the way that someone dresses with the way that like they think and act. So for me, something I heard growing up often was kind of like, oh, you know, make sure you don't show too much cleavage, make sure that like your skirt is a certain length, make sure you're not like sitting on like anyone's legs or something. Like if you're like in a cramped car or something, like don't sit on a guy's legs, like don't do this, don't do that. And that's definitely something I heard like throughout like puberty especially. And I feel like that's affected me in the sense that like now reflecting on it, I realize that like the place where that comes from a lot is just like very like backwards like cultural norms, and like the way that like, especially my parents having grown up in Cuba and having like come into like adulthood over there, were taught by their parents kind of like what the rules are, and kind of like men have that liberty to like, you know, unleash your sexuality and do whatever it is they want, and women have to be like more modest and reserved. And I feel like for me reflecting on it is kind of like, well, no, like I don't want to do that. I'm kind of like, you know, like I'm autonomous and like I can do with my body whatever it is I want, and like because I dress a certain way does not say anything about the way that I think, and dressing a certain way does not invite advances from people in a sexual way and any other sort of way to like make judgments on me. So I feel like looking back at that, like I've definitely like come to realize why it's wrong and not follow it. But at the time growing up, I feel like it's definitely something that I would think about and be like, well, maybe this person's treating me this way because I dressed a certain way, or like I made it seem like I was open to that when I'm not. So yeah.
Hi, my name is Gabrielle Fernandez-Pillay. I've grown up in the Boston area my whole life, but my mom immigrated from Korea and my dad immigrated from Sri Lanka when they were both teenagers. One experience I've had about gender norms with my parents has definitely been around playing sports. I played Division I lacrosse and now play Division I rugby in college, and I think my parents never intended for me to be a serious athlete. One of the areas in which I think I've seen most of their cultural expectations has been in physically getting stronger. The expectation has always been sort of for women to be gentler and more poised and have more manners and not be big and bulky. But I think that overcoming those expectations and sort of being proud of my strength physically and mentally has been a big part of making me a successful athlete. And I also think that they have come to support that more as well too.
Hi, my name is Samia and I'm from Bangladesh. So an experience I had is at family friend outings, we're supposed to prioritize men before women and children. So that means that men get food first and then women get food after to feed themselves and their children. And this impacted me because that means that like regardless of like how hungry you are or like what condition you're in, like we're supposed to prioritize men because they're seen as like more superior and more important than women.
So my name is Jay Giannis and I am Puerto Rican.
And my experience is this year I was very serious about school, and I was enrolled in a lot of clubs, and I was just in sports, and I was captain of the sports, and I was just really trying to get prepared for college and really be on that route to success. And then my mother saw everything that I was doing, and then my mother told me like, oh, like you should be more worried about cleaning and learning how to cook and doing all these things around the house rather than, you know, going to school and spending all your afternoons over there. And this affected me because it was like, at first I didn't see that it was a gender thing. I just thought like, oh, like she doesn't want me to be successful. But then once I really reflected and processed it, it was just like, it's just really hurtful that as a Hispanic female especially, you're seen to not be able to do things that are usually in a male's field. And I just feel like when it comes to something so small on a grander scale like school, I feel like we should be able to do that.
Hi guys, my name is Marianne. My parents are originally from Somalia, and I was born here in America. An experience that I've recently dealt with was being scolded for yelling when we had guests over. Because in our culture, for a woman to yell makes them seem more masculine and less feminine. But when guys do it, it's a normal thing for them to do because it goes with the norms that follow masculinity and using a higher volume with your voice to show how much power you have. So when I experienced this, ever since then, I've never gone above like my normal voice volume, which is like mid-tone, because of that experience. And I only use a louder voice if it's necessary. But ever since then, you would never see me speak louder than I'm supposed to or speak louder than is accepted in that situation.